Welcome along to the Hard Cam Wrestling Podcast with me, Ryan Palmer, and Nick, the Twin Towers. Say hello, Nick.
Yes. Hello.
What are we doing today, Nick?
We are doing the first ever Impact review podcast. Not jumping on the AEW bandwagon at all. We've been talking about it for ages. We just thought, why not do it now? So it's not because of Kenny Omega being on it or anything, honest.
No, nothing to do with that whatsoever. Before we go any further, we do the usual plug socials. Follow Hardcam Wrestling Podcast at Hardcam Podcast on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Yardy316. You can. What's your Twitter there, Nick?
It is Pencil Tree on Twitter. You can follow my journey through the old WWE, WWF pay-per-views at the minute.
Tremendous. And follow, you can join us on Facebook as well. Follow the podcast on Podbean and subscribe on Podbean and also on YouTube, and subscribe on YouTube as well. So, Impact, going backwards, the reason we're doing this is because, AEW, Kenny Omega won the AEW Championship on Impact last Wednesday, defeating Jon Moxley with the help of the Impact exec, former Impact color commentator Don Callis. And as they left the building, Don Callis advised Alex Marvez that they'll get answers on the next Tuesday, being Tuesday just gone yesterday, on Access TV on Impact, which set the world of wrestling ablaze. It was on fire. What was your reaction to that, Nick?
I'm marked out, mate. When anyone who's listened to the podcast from last week when we reviewed AEW, it's pretty obvious. I think all of us kind of just marked out after that sort of few moments of shock when it was like, did he just say Impact? Shit, yeah, no, he said Impact. And then, it's been a week of fantasy booking and what ifs and stuff like that. So, yeah, I was looking forward to Impact.
Same here. It was kind of I had like a kind of fantasy booking incident of what if Kenny and Donna in the ring to cut the promo, and suddenly out of nowhere Moxley turns up, has a bit of a scrap with them both. They run out. There's a car chase to the next airport, and they're on a plane to Japan. Something daft. And then other people wailed in with, what if they stop off at ROH on the way? I was just like, yeah, stop off at MLW on the way too, on the way to duty free.
Well, County in Mexico this weekend, so I'm expecting Triple A to possibly be involved.
Could be. There's
in Mexico this weekend, so
nice one. Right, so we had first match, Josh Alexander of the North with Ethan Page. Say that again.
Oh, so I was doing Sabin. I just like Sabin, so I got it.
Going up against Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns. So it was just those two, because I think Alex Shelley must still be injured or something.
Yeah.
I think the match, the Impact are heavily promoting the pay-per-view on Saturday, which is Final Resolution. I think there's going to be a match on Final Resolution. Josh Matthews goes up against Carl Anderson, and if Josh beats Carl Anderson, the North get another title shot against the Good Brothers. So hopefully, in my view, hopefully they'll become 3-time champions, because I really do like the North.
I've got nothing against them. I think they're definitely a good team. So they didn't make the top 5, but they are a good team.
They did not make your top 5 at all. No, they didn't. But
No.
yeah, a lot of conjecture and animosity, just a lot of noise about that within the group of lads at Hardcam Towers.
Oh, I'd just like to welcome you back from the dead as well, apparently.
Oh, yep. Thank you very much. I'm back from the dead. Bad stomach. But it's all cleared up now.
James Mitchell and Ryan Palmer in the same year.
That's it. James Mitchell. It was him. I was in the undead realm with Sue Young and the undead bridesmaids. Oh. And Havoc. So, so it's a decent match. This pretty fast paced. Standard kind of Chris Sabin's kind of stuff. Very fast. He's flippy moves, headlocks.
Speed versus strength, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was speed versus strength. Exactly. That's what I was alluding to. Cheers. So speed versus strength. Josh being the strength, Sabin being the speed. There's a lot of action in this. There's something going on between Ethan Page and Josh Alexander.
He's barking orders, and he kind of ended up costing him the match. Kind of, it's like if he'd ignored his partner, he probably would have won. That kind of thing.
It's a shame this is kind of happening because the same sort of thing happens later on with a different tag team as well. So it's like, don't fucking break your tag teams up, man. Yeah. You got a wicked tag team division, and you seemingly at least 2 of them now seem to be breaking up.
They've lost the Rascals. They can't lose anymore, surely.
Exactly. Oh. The Rascals are gone. It seems like the North may be splitting up, and the Dinas as well. So it's like, come on, no. So, yeah, there's a lot of near falls, suicide dive, diving crossbody from Chris Sabin. Josh Alexander powerbombs Chris Sabin onto his knee. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal, that move.
Yeah. Yeah, I made a weird noise at that one.
And then, as I say, Ethan is screaming orders at Josh Alexander. He's like, hit him with the elbow. And Josh is just like, well, I'll just do it my way. And that causes a distraction to Josh Alexander. And Sabin rolls him up for the win. So, again, a decent match. Commentators are putting over as well. They're putting over what's going to happen on Saturday, or mixing it in with the Good Brothers. Again, I don't think they should be. They seem to be teasing a break, a split between these two guys. That shouldn't really do that. As I say, Rascals are gone. The Dinas look to be splitting up. We'll come on to that later on. They shouldn't really do that.
No, it was good for opening match, especially when you got to think that they had obviously knew a lot of people would be tuning in potentially for the first time in a long time.
Exactly.
The responsibility of being that match falling to these two guys. Fair play to them.
A question I have though: do you think that, right? Because supposedly they've taped weeks and weeks and weeks ahead till January. Yeah. So is most of the footage or most of the matches on the show what they had already put in the can, and they've just put new commentary over because the commentary is done from Josh Matthews' home, I think. And then there's like just 2 bits and pieces where they've stuck on new events. Because you don't see anyone else acknowledge it. There's only a couple of times where Kenny and Don have been acknowledged by the actual wrestlers.
Yeah, a bit on it there with Swan, and then you got Dreamer and Demore later on talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah, my bad. Just ignore what I said previously. Obviously, these guys had no idea that they were going to be first up on the show after
I mean,
those events. So yeah, no, I'll take that credit away from them.
well, I mean, they could have been. I mean, this could be fresh. I don't know. It's an odd one. So if it is a case of it being they've kept the old footage that they've already got in the can, then fine. Or if it isn't, then bloody hell, they pulled out a decent match. Either way, they pulled out a decent match.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. In fairness.
Yeah. I mean, this caliber of team, these caliber of guys can do that anyway.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So yeah, you know what? They probably recorded this weeks ago, and the match would have been that good anyway, without them having to go that extra sort of, turning it up to 11 because of the increase of audience. This was probably just a normal day at work for these guys, and yeah, they're more than capable of doing this on a weekly basis anyway.
Exactly. So we get a recap from Josh Matthews and Madison Rain, hyping up the interview for later on. So this is one of those things where I think they've added it in after the fact. They'll maybe been talking about something else at this point, probably been talking about Final Resolution. But they're hyping up the interview. She says the same thing that she said on commentary as well, which is like, just can you imagine what you were saying? What the words that you're coming out your mouth? So Josh was saying something like, "I'm going to have an interview in the parking lot in the coach with Kenny Omega and Don Callis," and he says it here as well, and then she says the same thing on commentary that she said here. So she kind of repeating herself. So this kind of is a bit wonky.
Yeah, it didn't quite edit it correctly.
But it does its job as a backstage segment, I guess. Another one, Chris Bay talking strategy with Moose.
Moose. I like Moose.
Moose is not having any of it. And it's just a case of, well, I'll wait till Saturday. They're talking about Saturday as well. I can't remember what's going on. I think Chris Bay, they have some sort of title shot challenge.
Yeah, Bay's getting a shot at the title because he was on about it, like sort of saying, "Oh, if I win the title," and Moose was like, "That's fine. I'll just take it from you instead."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how Bay's got the title shot. I don't quite know. Unless something slipped me by, on previous episodes. I'm just kind of like, yeah, he was a bit of a random person to, because he was fighting. Obviously, he was feuding with Mac, winning Mac for a while.
Yeah. I think I can't even remember. I did watch the show. I just cannot remember how he ended up getting a title shot either. So then we get the. Say that again?
Said results obviously don't matter. That's just an AEW thing. Cue all the smart comments.
Oh, you can't say that. So then we get one of the best things you've seen on Impact all year, or well, on TV in the past week. The paid interview from Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone. They're two Tonys.
Two Tonys with the line of, you work in Impact, drink a coffee, and then go home.
Yeah. And he said, "Yeah, I was here for one show, and then I quit wrestling. I quit the wrestling business for 18 years." It's like, holy shit! I don't even remember if he was in Impact. He may have been. Obviously, it would have been on commentary, but I can't remember. So it probably literally was one show and he was off.
Yeah.
So the look.
Back in the day, didn't you? So you had all the old school WCW guys there. So yeah, Schiavone would have probably been there for a day and then thought, you know what, I don't need it.
That's probably what it was. So they're there just basically hyping up Dynamite for Wednesday with the Lance Archer and Lucha Brothers match and whoever else is on the show, the Diamond Dynamite ring match with Yeah, Orange Cassidy versus MJF.
Yeah.
Young Bucks going against the Hybrid 2. Don't know if that's a title match or not, but
No, I think if Hybrid 2 win, they get a title match.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
And Tony Khan says something like, "Oh, they got good tag teams here. I might check out the tag team division." It's like, ooh, and mentions that he's got investments in the local area and he might just buy Impact. I'm just like, holy shit, that's just rough. And they mentioned the interview with Sting as well.
Yes.
So what do you think of that one? It seems like they're not. They're playing that they got at. Obviously, they're not got at. But it's a good sell. A good
Yeah,
sell
man, it
by
did
the
the
team.
job. I'm sort of reading, obviously you go online afterwards, these things, and you see what people are saying and stuff like that. A lot of people saying that Mr. Khan looked kind of uneasy, but I don't know, I didn't see it that much. I just kind of saw it when he was doing an advert, and the dude's not an actor. He's just kind of like, he might have looked uneasy because he was, portraying that kind of a character on screen for the sake of the advert or something.
Yeah, I don't think it was uneasy at all. I think it's possibly geeky. Seems a bit geeky as such, but
yeah, it's just being like a little rich boy one kind of thing, but not in a bad way, because we all love Tony Khan. But yeah, I like it. Anytime you get the two Tonys on TV, it's a tick from me.
And the next match we got is TJP and Brian Myers. TJP's on his quest to regain the X Division championship. He can't get it back because Rohit Raju has the championship, and for some reason he agreed to some sort of stipulation where if Rohit won it, TJP can never challenge for it again.
Pure suicide.
Yes. Yeah. So Rohit Raju was in a match with Suicide. Rohit decided to unmask Suicide, thinking it was TJP, but it turned out to be Crazy Steve, and TJP was at the ramp.
Next time it will be TJP when he wins the X Division title, but that's in the future.
I think that probably will happen on Saturday.
Yeah,
that's final resolution.
But this Myers and TJP, man, I thought it was a quality match. TJP was obviously going for his moves that his favourite moves, his big moves. He kind of saw him looking like he was going for the, he was trying to hit those moves. Myers was just being a good wrestler.
Myers he kind of reminded me of Kevin Nash, the way he was dressed, the way he was like
a little mini Nash.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He was going for his proper signature moves, high flying moves, and his ground based moves as well. So he seems to be a bit of an all rounder, TJP.
Oh, he's awesome. He's got a solid submission game. Obviously, you think of him as being like the high flyer, but his submission game is on point.
Yep. He had that sort of sharpshooter move on at one point, and he turned that into like an Indian deathlock.
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called, where you arch over. And he also used the knee bar as well. So it's like, how the fuck did he just manage to? What happened in WWE? Fucking hell.
I think he's got a bit. Well, again, depending on what you read online, the dude has a bit of an attitude. Apparently, I don't know. He sort of got mad that Ali took his spot on the main roster. Apparently, he kind of saw it when Ali came up as that should have been him.
Man, that's a shame.
Backstage politics, and it's is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think if people haven't watched Impact before or haven't seen Myers since obviously his Hawking days, and they clocked him here, and they would have been more than pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It's like shit and wrestle.
Do you think up to this point, there would have been like AEW fans still hanging on to the show, or do you think they would have like just said, "Fuck this! I'll wait till it's fully taped and then just skip to the end"?
I don't know. I'd like to think. I think the ones who appreciate. I think we've had this conversation before, man, haven't we? Where we kind of like get people who are loyal to brands as opposed to just fans of wrestling. I think people who are open, who watched AEW and thought, you know what, I'll watch Impact because of Kenny's going to be on it, even if it's at the end. I just want to watch some wrestling. And I think those guys obviously would have stuck around for the entire show, and good on them. But then you got the enthusiasts who just will only watch AEW or those kind of thing, and they're just like, okay, we'll just watch the highlights on YouTube afterwards or something.
Fair enough. I would have thought, yeah. I mean, they're doing Impact are doing the best. They're putting on a decent enough show. They're not going all out.
Yeah.
They put there's no terrible. There's one botch in another match, which we'll get to. But there's so far none of the matches are sloppy. None of the matches are terrible. It's very decent so far.
Yeah, wrestling fans will have enjoyed this. People who will watch it for the first time, like, just thought, just want to watch some good wrestling. They'll enjoy Impact. But you always get those fans who will live and die just AEW, or they'll just live and die WWE, and they won't give another show a chance. They'll just write it off.
I would have thought that there would have been. I've lost my train of thought, but the Impact would have done a decent enough job to hold a decent viewership of new viewers. Apparently, it did loads, like 3 or 4, I think 5 times as many viewers as it usually do.
Well, I'm looking I don't know if they released the figures today, but whenever the ratings go up, I'm curious to sort of see. It was 1,771,000 was the top rating this year prior to this episode.
Bloody hell.
So, yeah, I'm curious as to... hopefully it will hit like the 500,000 mark. That would be nice, but even if it just doubles, that's still an impressive
I think
jump.
Twitch numbers went crazy as well.
Awesome.
So it was on Twitch, it was on YouTube, and on Access TV as well. Strange. So Myers wins with a clothesline as well.
Yeah.
An odd finishing move, but it's an ordinary clothesline. It's not a clothesline from hell or a lariat, it's just a clothesline. Takes TJP's foot hits the bottom rope momentarily. Whether or not they'll make that a thing, it in the backstage segment later on, it doesn't seem that TJP was. So I don't think they'll probably make it a thing at all. Must have been just accidental.
They didn't. So they didn't bring it up when he was talking to Rodney afterwards, did he? So
exactly. So Dino's backstage. Cody's talking to Jake. Cody wants his revenge against Eric. He doesn't want Cody. Doesn't want Jake to come out to help him, no matter what. So no matter what happens, I don't want you to do this. I am a man. I want to do this by myself. So again, why are they teasing the split? What's going on? You don't need a split on a tag team.
No.
And we get the segment we just mentioned there with Rohit and TJP. Rohit just basically winded up TJP about his X Division title shot that he's never ever going to get again whilst Rohit's holding it. But as we say, TJP's not bothered about it, his foot being on the rope, so that must mean just a thing that happened that didn't play into the story. Eric Young versus Cody Deaner with Joe Doring. What do you know of Joe Doring?
Not a lot, if I'm honest with you. I don't know if it's any relation to Danny Doring from back in the ECW days, but no, I don't know that much. Except he's such a big boy.
Same here. All I know is he's not related to Danny Doring because he spells his Doring, and this guy spells it Doering.
Okay.
So, he was in TNA before, very briefly, and then he's been in All Japan ever since then. And then he came back to Impact like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy? It looks weird."
Somebody put Eric in it. A bit of a company for you. What?
Exactly. I don't know why they paired him with him.
Well, hopefully we'll get a bit of a rub from him. Because obviously EY's awesome. If the Doring guy can get a slight elevation by being stood next to him, go for it.
What did you make of this match?
I'm not really oversold on it. It's not a top-notch match. It was a good match. Enjoyed it. It was what it was. I was just happy, the Rhino came back afterwards.
Yeah. So as previous weeks, EY wins with the pile driver. Causing Joe Doring to give some afters to Cody. Jake comes in, tries to make the save, and then gore, just as they line up for a double pile driver spot. Rhino comes in with a huge pipe, a huge steel pipe, clears the ring, and I think it's probably setting up some sort of feud between the three. So
Rhino would be a good sort of big boys slapping meat kind of matchup.
Yeah, big boys. So,
I love Rhino. So.
Rhino's decent. They probably got him on his own at the moment because Heath is injured.
Yeah.
Pulled his groin or something really, really horrible. He's out injured, so they've got Rhino doing something at the moment, which is this.
Yeah, which is nice because at least they're not having him sit out whilst Heath out. Rhino will probably get this feud with Doring. Heath will come back hopefully somewhere towards the end, and it'll either help or turn on Rhino. That'll be the end of the feud kind of thing, and it'll move on to the next one.
We've got Tommy Dreamer talking to Johnny Bravo.
It was
being shot by Larry D, and then Larry D makes a match between him and Dreamer. It's like, if I beat you, I walk away free from attempted murder. But if you win, I get arrested. Is that it? You can make matches?
The cops outside, just about to storm the building. And they'll be like, whoa. No, wait. Let him have his match first. Yeah, if you win, we'll let him off, boys.
I want to match. You can't arrest me. Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, damn it.
Case dismissed. Then we get the bit in the office with Dreamer and Scott D'Amore.
Yes.
What did you make of this one? This is hilarious.
I loved it. I'm just really happy to see Scott D'Amore sort of at the top of the food chain at the minute as well on Impact, just for I think the guy's always brought a lot to the table, even since his Team Canada days. Dreamer there, and there was some nice little nods where, if you know what there was on about, it just added a little bit more flavour to it. But if you didn't know what there was on about, you wouldn't have really picked up on it. But it's just like Dreamer saying, obviously he's dealt with Callis, for years. Obviously referring back to the ECW days of him being Cyrus.
Yep.
It's just those little things that just kind of like made it a little bit tasty.
I think this was a point where, other than the commentary that's been going on, this is the first time that two wrestlers have acknowledged the fact that Kenny Omega and Don Callis are in the building and what happens as well. So I think this is another one that's just been inserted.
Yeah, it's like a filmed segment, and it kind of.
Yeah. I like the bit where he says that even Lance Storm was happy, and he's not even happy about any of this, or happy about anything. So go retweet. So they're all talking about the Twitter traffic.
Yeah, any mention of that as well makes me happy.
What did you think of the tag team tournament match coming up next?
Not gonna lie to you, I kind of phased out a little bit here. So I'll hold my hands up. It's no besmirchment on the people. I just got distracted by something at the time. My little boy. But this was kind of I phased out, and then I came back, and it was just kind of just coming to an end. So I could have rewound it, but
I thought myself it was pretty decent. Again, Donna Purrazzo, very technical, going for arm bars. The one botchy thing was in this match where Kimberly was going for some sort of running blockbuster on Rosemary, and it just didn't look good at all. It fucked up. I think Rosemary was supposed to go over with her, but she didn't, and it just looked fucking horrendous.
I wonder what you were about when you mentioned earlier about a botch. I don't remember seeing one, but that would be why.
Yeah, it was in this match. It was just weird. Deanna had Rosemary on her knee, face down, and then Kimberly was in the corner, ran towards Rosemary, did the blockbuster type move, but Rosemary didn't rotate. She just went down flat, face flat. It was odd. I think she might have fucked up her neck, but she came back. She did the resurrection scare. Taya Valkyrie came in, clotheslined them both out of the ring, got rid of Deanna, and then Rosemary got Kimberly in the wing clipper move. I'm not sure what she calls it in or what it's called. What Rosemary calls it. Gets her in the wing clipper, pin 1, 2, 3. Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly are out of the tournament. So, for me, okay, they all got their shit in. There was a double split spot with Taya Valkyrie and Kimberly, where they both did the splits and they both punching each other whilst on the floor, which is okay enough spot.
Yeah.
But I like the combination of Taya and Rosemary. Odd pairing, but fair enough. They work. They seem to work. They've been working as a tag team for the last few months.
They generally do sometimes. Sometimes you get those odd pairs and they just kind of work. It's like obviously back in the day, X-Pac and Kane, or more recently Drake Maverick and Killian Dane kind of thing. You've always got that odd couple team.
Yeah, Caleb with a K and Tennille Dashwood talking about their possible tag team with Alicia Edwards. Alicia Edwards, or however she talks. She speaks really strangely. Bit of a nothing segment.
Yeah.
Alicia Edwards complains to them about them not knowing about Eddie Edwards being beaten up 2 weeks ago by Sammy. She storms off. Tennille and Alicia are probably going to have a match next week, which I don't think is going to be very pretty because I don't rate either one of them. Sorry. Another backstage segment. Deonna and Kimber complain to Scott D'Amore about having to contend with zombies and dead women, and another losing the tag tournament. So Scott books a match for Saturday. Title match: Rosemary versus Deonna. I think Deonna's probably just going to retain her title.
Yeah, it's a weird one though, because do you risk losing sort of the character of Sue if she loses, but you don't want the belt the hot potato either?
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, I think she's just gonna win. She's gonna retain. The title's just gonna lose all meaning if it just goes backwards and forwards. Eddie, not Eddie. Sammy, yes, Sammy
Sammy's in the ring.
Callahan. Yeah. What did you think of this one then? Well,
yeah, Sammy being Sammy, innit? Just cuts the promo, bigging himself up. If you like Sammy, you'll love this promo. It's obviously building for the big return of Mr. Edwards.
exactly. The weird thing about this, the promo was good. One bit he completely fucked up on though, which is a bit of a nitpick. He says he does the Jeopardy spot where you give the answer and then you have to give the or you get the answer and you give the quiz show host the question. So, for example, your answer is you put it in your car to make your car go, and you say the question to the quizmaster, what is petrol? So he said something like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the best drawer of them all? And then he says, the question is, what is Sammy Callahan? So it's just like, you've answered a question with a question. You idiot. Yeah. You fucked up. I kind of done my head in. But, I mean, the rest of the segment was alright. He showed it. He's basically cutting a promo about when he beat up Eddie Edwards with a baseball bat, breaking his orbital bone, missing the chair, hitting him in his head. They showed a video of that. He then says, he's the draw. He's dragged up the company from the lower mire that it was in. And then he wants to show the video again. Video doesn't play. Slags off the people in the truck to play the video. But then Alicia comes down and he says, right, if you get in the ring with me, this time I'm going to break your neck. And then Alicia grabs a mic. Oh, no. She says something to the words of the effect, this time I didn't come alone. And then you get Eddie Edwards jumping, Sammy from behind, tries to get the baseball bat. Sammy tries to throw the baseball bat away, out of reach. And Eddie gets the baseball bat, but Sammy squirms away, escapes through the guardrail. And the Edwards family are in the ring, supreme. And then you have them backstage, all fired up, all going, yeah, we did it, yeah. So it's a decent promo, apart from the little bit that I'm sure he fucked up. And now we get the main event. Main event match. Chris Bay and Moose versus Willie Mack and Rich Swann. So another pretty decent match for a showcase kind of show. If you want to attract new viewers, if you want to show AEW viewers or any other fans that don't usually tune into Impact, what Impact is all about. You got the speed of Chris Bay and Rich Swann, and you got the power of Willie Mack and Moose, Moose is just in a bad mood all night, not putting up with any of Chris Bay's shit, not putting up with Mack's shit or Swan's shit. Whenever he's tagging in Chris Bay, just slapping him.
Yeah,
really aggressive.
Angry big man, isn't he?
He's really fucking angry. Willie Mack, for a man his size, he's flying all over the place. He's doing tobes, hitting 2 stunners on Moose as well. Then somehow Moose recovers from that. Chris Bay's pretty fast as well, but Chris Bay is really fast moves, lots of kicks, lots of flips as well, but he's not doing like high spots just for the sake of high spots. All his moves do have logic and substance to them as well. Finishes that Mack goes for a splash on Bay, on Moose even. Misses. Moose rolls out the ring with Swan, and Chris Bay gets the pin on Willie Mack for the 3.
It's a sneaky win. It's a sneaky,
very sneaky win. I mean, that gives Bay momentum for Saturday, don't you think?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It suits the Bay character. You know, I mean, the dude just kind of weasels in and just gets that 1, 2, 3. By obviously kayfabe logic, the dude gets if it's a pay per view at the weekend, he'll get the 3 count on the go home show. He's not hurt too much in defeat on the pay per view, if that's what happens.
Totally. And then the ultimate main event comes up. Actually, no. I get the bit before.
Oh, which one?
Yeah. He's trying to go home. He's trying to leave. And he comes up against the security guard. The security guard's like, nope. Nope, you can't go through. The champ has the car park completely sealed off, blocked off. And he's just like, well, is Moose doing that shit again? I'm the real champ. This is Kenny Omega. So again, this is another tacked on bit, I would say, because Rich Swann doesn't even look sweaty or anything.
Yeah, you know that's been recorded in the last week.
Exactly.
Get off, grab the belt. We need to record something.
Yeah, and then Josh Matthews comes by. He gets stopped by the security guard, but he says, I'm here to do an interview with Kenny Omega. And Don Callis checks the list. Yep, he's on the list. He goes. And then Rich Swann tries to get by, but the security guard says, nah, your name's up down. You're not coming in. So he doesn't get to go by. And then we get to the motorhome caravan or whatever you.
The Lex Express.
The Kenny Omega Express.
I'm not sure.
Is that Alexa?
Oh, I think that's probably the Lex Express. I apologise.
So Josh goes in. He gets a handshake from Don. He doesn't get a handshake from Kenny. Kenny just blanks him. It's hilarious. And they sit down and they change the nameplates. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I heard it. Well, again, read it as being. It was okay. I was like, no, bollocks to that. It exceeded okay. I thought it was awesome. It ticked all the boxes. Omega came across as your arrogant heel champ. Being a comic book geek, loved his little speech about being a collector. Wanted to, when he was a kid, he wanted to collect comics, but he never got the Action Comics #1 kind of thing. And so I saw that I'm going to collect belts instead. Callis's whole rationale, how it's been in the works for years, about he came back to wrestling 5 years. He didn't come back into wrestling 5 years ago to do a podcast or to do commentary. This has all been in the works since then. It just makes it seem a lot bigger. It just made it seem, like it's just been so orchestrated.
Yep, 27 years.
Yeah.
Do you think I think what you mentioned there, people were saying, "Oh, it was okay." Do you think it would have been better if it was in the ring? If the segment had happened in the ring itself instead of in the back of a car, in the back of a caravan?
No, if they'd have had audience, if they'd have had an audience, yeah, do it in the ring. But there was no audience, man. That's the thing. That's the only niggle for me with Impact. Is it still takes an adjustment for me sometimes because I've got that used to just even if it's just screens, in like the Thunderdome or NXT or the trainees at AEW. I'm really used to being somebody around the ring. It still freaks me out a little bit with an Impact when you don't have anybody around the room. So I think, given that there was nobody out there, it didn't matter to me that it was done in the back of a huge fucking bus.
Fair enough.
That's just that's my logic.
For me, I thought it may have been a bit better. It may have given off that more of a invasion feel if it was in the ring itself. But this exchange in the express, so to speak, was equally as impactful. They changed.
He was better than Impact in that sense, kind of thing. Like in a heel way. So I'm not even going to set foot in the building, or we'll just cut the promo here.
Yeah.
In my bus, on my turf, kind of thing.
So they changed the nameplate from Mox to Omega. Omega offers the Mox nameplate to Josh. Says, "Oh, you know Ambrose, don't you?" From season 1 of Tough Enough, and then they just throw away the nameplate. And then, as you say, that Don Callis tells a story of how long this has been going on for 27 years. Kenny's uncle, the Golden Sheik, trained Don, took care of Don like a father, and thus Don took care of Omega being the invisible hand. He was there by his side when he won the IWGP Championship. He was there on commentary. He was there in Impact on commentary. He was there the 2 times in AEW doing commentary. So he's been maneuvering himself into positions for the past 27 years to be always by Kenny's side, being like that devil on his shoulder, putting him in positions of power. And then Kenny just says, they also show that picture as well of Don and the Sheik, which is in that interview when Kenny was in that house and nobody knew whose house it was.
Yeah.
But if you looked closely, you would have saw that photo. I think you mentioned that in one of our pods.
Give credit to James for that one, I think.
Oh, it was James, was it?
James last week, he mentioned it. Yeah, said it'd been like under our noses for so long.
Yes. And so it has, especially when you see the picture, you're just like, holy shit, motherfuckers, it was. And as you say, Kenny's mentioned him being a collector, possibly being a belt collector. Who knows? And that's it. He does the I bid you adieu, good night, bang. And then the show ends. Good night, bang. So it was a decent episode. As a showcase to anyone watching Impact for the first time, I think it done its job. It didn't go overboard. It didn't overbook anything. It didn't also veer off into dead realm kind of stuff. I think it held back on stuff, and at the same time just showed the best of what it can do.
It didn't set expectations that high. If you tune in next week, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is crap now. Like, no, this is what you're getting. If you tune in next week, you'll get the same again, kind of thing. It kind of just set that high standard, but it's a weekly standard.
Exactly. I don't think they're going to get the same numbers this week as they did next week as they did this week.
Oh no, definitely not. If it sort of margins out like higher than the previous, so I think I said like about 171,100,000 being the highest this year. It averages out about 154,000, I think. So if it pulled like 400,000 last night and then it drops to 200,000 next week, it's still done its job. And
Yeah.
Kudos.
Hopefully they would have gained some new fans. I sadly don't think they will have done, but I'm still a loyal enough fan to keep with the product.
Oh yeah, we should point it at the start as well. We are the two guys from the podcast that have watched Impact prior to last night's episode. We have watched it on a weekly episode, a weekly routine prior to this. We're the ones who will defend Impact.
Yeah, we will definitely defend it, and we have done.
Yes.
To the extent where it's become a flame war. Oh yes. Oh yes.
But no, I mean, I hope. Again, I've got a habit of just reading comments on like the YouTube posts and stuff like that. And I was kind of warm fuzzy feeling reading some of the comments because some people are saying like, oh, I've not watched Impact since TNA, blah 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 blah. Watched this episode on the back of the AEW thing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I will be tuning in next week. So I was like, okay. So there was a lot of positivity in the comments. So yeah, I'm hoping they've gained a few thousand more viewers.
Let's hope so. Well, that has been the Hardcam Wrestling Podcast Impact Edition. Hopefully there'll be more. It was a one-off so far because of a crossover between AEW and Impact, but who knows? There may be some more. James, plug any upcoming stuff you got in your socials again. Nik, sorry.
Sorry, dude.
Good God.
Yeah, just go check out the wrestling artwork page associated to the Hardcam Podcast Wrestling Facebook page. I'm generally on there, or you'll see me posting in the Facebook page as wrestling artwork, just if there's any confusion. Follow me on Twitter, Pencil Tree. Again, making my way through the 90s pay-per-views of WWF. Currently on 96, so shit's about to get good. So it's fine. I went through the bad stuff, so feel free to join me now for the good stuff.
You can follow me at Yardy316 on Twitter. Follow the podcast at Hardcam Podcast on Twitter. Also subscribe on YouTube. Follow YouTube. Listen on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Yes, I always forget that one. And subscribe and listen on Podbean as well. And leave us some feedback. We need to know if we're terrible or if we're absolutely fantastic. If I'm the sexy one, or if I am the sexy one, if I'm the only sexy one, I should say. And the others suck. But we are out of here. We're out of time, folks, as we say. Goodbye, folks. We're done.